Destiny. Many people believe that God had planned our future long before we were even born. Yet some people think that destiny is not only something given by, but also the choice from what our heart believes. Something worth fighting for, not just sitting down and wait. Hence, Saemah Shamim is one of those who believe all about that.
After my bachelor's degree, I was thinking of studying abroad. So I was searching for different opportunities. I was trying to fill up the scholarship forms. It happened that I came across this form that was provided by IIIU, and I went through the website. I saw the university and all, and there is this thing that I have always heard about Indonesia, that Indonesia is a Muslim majority country. So this particular thing was very fascinating for me because I belong to Nepal, and Nepal is a Muslim minority country, and since my childhood is spent in Saudi Arabia, so when I came back Nepal, I was missing that atmosphere. When I saw that this scholarship is from Indonesia, and Indonesia is a Muslim majority country, I was very excited for that, and I applied for it, and Alhamdulillah, I got the scholarship.
This Nepali girl never wastes the chances she has. In the beginning, Saemah thought Indonesia was not too prominent for her taste. However, she instantly fell in love with Indonesia at the very moment she stepped her feet on this country, back in the year of 2022.
One thing that I would say that my land, it taught me how to walk, but Indonesia is teaching me how to fly because, the education, the higher level of education I'm getting here, people are very friendly, very polite. Beside this all, the professors, the academic atmosphere, the outside academic atmosphere, everything seems on point. I'm getting what I expected to get. So, these things that I would say about Indonesia is beautiful.
For her, Indonesia is not only a place to seek for knowledge, but also a place for her to learn about values and the meaning of life.
Tolerance, peace, and harmony that I see in Indonesia, I think it is something that Indonesia should export to other countries, because in other countries I have seen this kind of contradiction between the different religions on the name of politics, on the name of other things, but in Indonesia I have seen this good understanding among different cultures. Like there are Catholics, there are Christians, there are Muslims. Though Muslims are in majority, but I do not see Muslims being dominating other religions, unlike in other places. This one particular thing, I think, this is one of the best character that Indonesia hold.
This political science graduate student also revealed the other reason why she loves Indonesia so dearly. Saemah admitted it was not easy for her to be a real Muslimah in her homeland. She felt something was overshadowing her and made her feel she did not completely belong in her own neighborhood.
Personally, there is no maximum change. As a general, I would say that back in my country, there is no masjid, and if there is masjid, it is very far away from the home, so I would not be able to go to the masjid and pray. But here, I feel it very nice to go to different masjid, pray there, meet other people, and then, there are many beautiful masajids around. So that one thing that, I feel happy when I see those things. Apart of that, not really, but back home, since I am Hafizah, so back home my parents would be there to help revising the Quran. But here, because I am alone in the room and I am stuck with the study problems, sometimes homesick and these things, my daily routine of revising my Quran is being disturbed. Apart of that, instead I feel that this Indonesia, this land, has provided me atmosphere where I can practice being a Muslim more freely than back in my country.
Indeed, Saemah truly got that freedom when she experienced how Indonesia made her dream come true as a truthful Muslimah.
It is very funny that sometimes people would just come and say that, why are you wearing hijab? Don't you have hair inside? I would no, it's my culture. It's how I carry myself. Like 1 week, 2 weeks, it would be difficult, but later I would get friends, they talk to me. But again, tackling with questions, like it's a permanent problem. Always I'm suffering with those questions because there are other Muslim girls, they don't wear hijab, so I do wear. she's not Muslim, why you dress up like this and why she's not dressing up like that. So people have freedom to practice whatever they want, but tackling these questions every day, sometimes it is irritating and annoying, but well, these kind of problems that I suffer in my country.
Whereas Saemah thought being a Muslimah is not because you were born as one. Yet a Muslimah is about how you can show your identity as one clearly.
Hijab for me is an identity. I identify myself when I wear my hijab. I preserve my identity. I preserve my own color. I don't want to be colored with the modern world or whatever, copying other people, trying to be what I see, the changes that is happening. Change is important. The tree, it never changes its roots. It changes its leaves only. So my root, my hijab is my root, my iman. I'm not changing my root, but of course I will change my leaves because I'm living in a modern world. Adjust myself with different changes that come in. Hijab, no, I cannot compromise with it because that is me and I cannot compromise with my identity.
Despite everything she admired about Indonesia, there were some things she needed to adapt to what she previously believed. One of them was mazhab differences.
What is mazhab? Mazhab is different school of thoughts. Each mazhab has its own ideology. So I think mazhab is a very important asset for Muslim Ummah because each mazhab is a compiled study of different research, different views, different set of ideas and thoughts done by the big scholars. So when we see this mazhab as a different set of schools and we try to get knowledge from those, every one of them, criticizing it, accepting it, not accepting it is a personal thing. But mazhab, different school of thought itself is a very important asset that Muslim Ummah has because it is a full study, research, different views, different knowledge, education. So taking this mazhab as an excuse to fight on is a wrong thing.
Saemah Shamim advent to Indonesia is not only for her own sake. Saemah, who is the youngest of 7 siblings, has a vision and mission to help her closer to the alteration she dreams of.
Education always starts from home. The kind of atmosphere that you get in your home design your way of thinking. So I have always thought to be a good leader, always thought to make footprints to others to walk on rather than walking on the previously made footprints. Politics, I thought Muslims are the minority in Nepal. And to change something, you really need to get hold of the position to change, right? You cannot be just shouting at the street and change happens. So in that case, I thought that if I take politics, I will learn more about politics is involved everywhere. It is not only for the ruling the country, it is involved in every activity and individualhood. So I thought that if I take this side, this political area, I will get more knowledge about how things are being handled, about how controversies are being handled, and how a leader should decide, make a decision, how when everyone is against a leader, how a leader tackle with those problems. So these kind of characters or these kind of tactics is very important to learn if you want to be a strong leader. Holding that aim of being a good Muslim leader in my country, for my community, for my ummah, I thought this would be a great opportunity. So why not?
Saemah believes seeking knowledge is one of the ways to construct that changes to be ensued. Islam itself has explained about that loud and clear.
When we talk about Islam and when we talk about the modern world, let's bear in our mind that it is not so different. There is no verse in Quran that do not emphasize to get the education. If we all remember that the first verse that landed was Iqra, that means read. So when Quran emphasizes education so much, there is no contradiction between Quran and science. So science also emphasizes knowledge. You research, you try to bring new things, and at the same time, Quran also emphasizes every individual to learn, to get education. It says, "Hal yastawi alladhina ya'lamuna walladhina la ya'lamun?" Is it equal, the one who knows and the one who do not know? This similarity, when Quran emphasizes on education and science also emphasizes on the same thing, there is no contradiction between Islam and science. And Islam is a complete way of life. It teaches you how to live individually, how to live in a society. So I think this particular character of Islam, it can contribute a lot in the development of the modern world. So those people who say that Islam doesn't fit in modern world, I think it doesn't make logic. Because what is modernity? Modernity is all about development, it's all about education, it's all about new research. At the same time, Quran is always emphasizing on those things. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, education is obligation for every Muslim. Either it be female, male, it doesn't matter.
The support from her family is indeed an ember that embraces her to keep going. Saemah realized the scholarship she now has is the gate to making her wishes become a reality.
When I tell him about the achievement that I am getting here, because the education system is very different in Nepal and Indonesia, the platforms that I am getting here, the different conferences that I went to, and the way my university is supporting me is very different than the education system in Nepal. You don't really get those kind of exposures, those kind of platforms. You don't get that kind of education there. So now when I tell him about my achievements, he is really happy. And you see, now he also tells me that if you want to do your PhD there, you are free to do it.
Not to forget the environment Saemah now lives in. Saemah always gets so many supports from people around her, from her peer graduate students to the lecturers.
Saemah is a postgraduate student in our faculty, Political Science, International Relations. She comes from Nepal, the Kathmandu area in Nepal. At the beginning, when she applied to this university, she thought that, okay, this is Islamic university, she's gonna do something related to her faith. But then when she come here, she kind of see there is that kind of a diversity of Islam in Indonesia. It is more, inclusive. Numerous different, faith and race is not a matter in Indonesia. I think Saemah is a good student. She's committed to her study. So far, she's been one of the productive and focal woman students in this faculty. So that's kind of giving a little bit optimism for, let's say, lecturers like me to be able to see that kind of progress in our students.
Furthermore, Saemah spreads a high-minded ethos to her friends who are in the same circumstances and struggles just like her.
Saemah is basically from the first batch, so when I came here, she was already here. She knows about the surrounding of the atmosphere, so she helped me a lot. And the best thing is that she also knows how to speak in Urdu. So she knows how to speak in English, Urdu, Nepali, Arabic. So it was a good experience for me to speak with her. It was very easy to communicate with her, and also she helped me to adjust with the cultural shocks. When I came here, so the food is totally different, the atmosphere, academically. So she helped me a lot.
There is this one thing that drives Saemah so delighted yet contented during her stay in Indonesia. That one thing is the excitement she always feels in every Islamic celebration.
Nepal, being a Muslim minority country, when there is Ramadan, when there is Eid al-Fitr, when there is Eid al-Adha, you don't really feel that festive mood because people don't celebrate. They would not even know that, okay, it's Ramadan going on. It's something very special for Muslims. They don't know it. There are no discounts in shops. So you don't feel that festive mood, that enjoyment, that excitement. Unlike in Indonesia, it was like you can feel it. You can hear the sound of adhan, Taraweeh going on, people going on to pray Taraweeh, iftari, people cooking together. They are doing iftari together. There are iftari programs in masajid. So you feel that festive mood, that excitement. You feel like, okay, something is going on. And similarly, in Eid al-Adha, you feel the same excitement. When you go out, you see other people coming out, going to the mosque together. So these things are really very beautiful, I would say. These things are not there in Nepal because less people, you don't really feel that festive mood. Sometimes we plan gatherings, we invite people, so there are, small gatherings, but still you don't really feel that excitement, that festive feelings back there. So this thing about Indonesia, I think I'm going to miss it.
Something she hitherto never especially bonded with, even though she was not celebrating it with her family. Regardless, she is a foreign student at one of Indonesian university, yet she never feels outlandish with everything she encountered and happened during her time in Indonesia. Each and every occasion is an inseparable event for her life journey. Nevertheless, Saemah plans to not stop her dreams and education in a master's degree disposition. She wants to get another scholarship for her higher level of education.
After I finish my master's, I'm planning to come back for my PhD, inshallah, if all the things are suitable. And after doing my PhD, I'm planning to be a lecturer. I have big ambitions and I don't know how much I will be able to fill it up, but I will try my best to make Muslim community recognized in our country. They should not be saying that you are Muslim, you are not Nepali. This sentence should not be there. Nepali, there are Muslim Nepalese also. And there is no difference between being a Nepali or being a Muslim. It's the same thing. You are a Hindu Nepali, I am a Muslim Nepali, you are a Christian Nepali, everyone is Nepali. There should not be any differences.
The more knowledge Saemah gathers about Indonesia, the more profoundly she falls in love. Thus, there are so many life lessons she reaped during her education journey in Indonesia. Life lessons that soon will be the righteous gifts she takes home to her motherland.
The biggest sign of tolerance here is, you see the Masjid Istiqlal, the biggest mosque of Indonesia, and then in front of it you see the church, such a beautiful church. So what can be most beautiful example of tolerance? So that is one thing that I want to take from here to my country, because if there is tolerance, there is peace. No tolerance, no peace.
The pleasant commentary about studying in Indonesia was not only come from Saemah. So many foreign students was dazzled by the wonder of Indonesia. Hence, the university staff where they studied also acknowledged those facts.
I think Indonesia has the potential to provide all of that for the international students, because there is apparently different kinds of needs and demands, and it's also related to the future progress, like how many of optimism that we can give to these international students to continue their study in Indonesia and brought back the values of Indonesia's Islam to their country.
One of them is Sadia, Saemah's best friend, an Afghan scholarship candidate who studies economics and business at UIII, Universitas Islam Internasional Indonesia.
Indonesia, this scholarship just come all of a sudden, and it was like we as a Muslim believes that when Allah closes one door to us and He opens multiple other doors. This was just one of that opportunities that basically me catched that up. So when we applied here, we were a group of students who applied all together here. We have been selected here, and I got agree with this scholarship because this was the fastest way for me to surround myself with a different environment, with a different, at least, education system.
Sadia surmises that Indonesia is her golden gate to achieving her new yearning, even though she doesn't know what kind of result she will get at the end of her journey. Therefore, she can only climb out when that question is asked. Yet Sadia keeps her best quintessence fire up and never wants to lose hope. Somewhat, she doesn't want to waste any chance to make her small voice to be heard.
I can't say we have no future. We will have future. The time will change, but it will take time. Obviously, it will take time. So I believe the 2 years in here is a long time. I will try to learn as much as possible, and I hope that the situation in Afghanistan may get better, so that we could go back. How we want to build it, what we can do by a minority community like me, or maybe 100 or more than 100 people, we will not be able to decide for that. We need to work strongly. We should have patience, and it will take like so many times and so much times. It might take decades or a century again to rebuild Afghanistan. I believe time is always moving around. It's a circle. Good days will come back to Afghanistan, and the first thing that I hope and I am planning for that is that if the time in Afghanistan, the circumstances in Afghanistan changed, we will go back, we will struggle, and we will inshallah build back the country. If it continues like this, if it may remain that the right for the woman is still bonded, the right for the education is still bonded for the girls, obviously me as an individual cannot help anyone over there. I will be only able to help my own family. So I will try to at least save myself so that I could be able to save the next generations, and maybe the next generation could build the future.
Bit by bit, each and every sadness Sadia had began to fade away when she started her new life in Indonesia.
I found Indonesia more respectful, more tolerant to each other, more balanced with the environment, and the people are more social, and they are more respectful to each other, and especially to the foreigners, to the internationals who are moving around. And most importantly, what I found about Indonesia from this university, from UIII, is peace and respect. These are the two words that build love among the humanity, among the community around the world. And they are persuading peace and love for the world. They are trying to explore the concept of Islam through Wasatiyah connection, which we believe is tolerance, acceptance, respect around the world, for the world. And let me add one more sentence, is that they also want to persuade Afghanistan for this concept, where we says it is peace for the human. It's peace for the human. So this is all I found in Indonesia.
Eye to eye with Saemah, Sadia did not find any hard problems during her stay in Indonesia. This 29-year-old woman acknowledged that Indonesia is a comfortable place to studying. That's the stories of knowledge seekers from some of the foreign students in Indonesia. For them, Indonesia is not only a new home to help them achieve their goals, but Indonesia also a part of the beautiful story that bring home someday to their motherlands.